Hello, everyone. This is Tea Lovers Journal, having a chat with lovely Melissa, and we traveled virtually to Arizona now. So before going through my question, Melissa, I would like you to have some sort of introduction.
Okay, thank you so much for having me on. My name is Melissa Salazar, and I'm a certified tea master and blend specialist. I started at a really young age drinking tea. I absolutely love it. So sharing my passion about tea and education is what I absolutely love to do. It all started with my grandmother, and when I was really young, I was one of 8 kids, so we didn't get a lot of one-on-one time, but she gave us that time, and she actually had tea time with us, and she had us pick like the most beautiful cups you would ever see in the world off of her. She had tea racks like all over the walls. And so we would pick those out. And, one time I said to her, I said, Grandma, aren't you worried that, we're going to break your teacups? Because we were really little. And she said, honey, these are just things. And that really stood out for me because she was like, these are just things. The experience that I have with you and I have tea is what matters. It didn't matter that they were beautiful, expensive teacups. What mattered is that she was having that experience with us. And that's really where my tea journey began.
That's great, Melissa. I love it. It was so touching.
Yeah.
What about the business, Melissa? I know that you are running that Zen Tea business, and I know you are doing the training. Let's go and first talk about that Zen Tea company and what you do.
Okay. So, I had gone through college. I originally got my degree in exercise, nutrition, and wellness, and I did part of my undergrad work on the ergogenic effects of green tea. And at the time, I was an athlete, and I really wanted some type of natural edge. And I found that, I did all the research, found that green tea really does have performance enhancing benefits. And this really, stood out for me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And, but, still going through school, not knowing exactly what I was going to be doing, I ended up teaching health. And I said, I really want to do something with tea. So I started my company, Zen Tea Company. Red is my nickname, so that is the company name, Zen Tea Company, because Zen is really what tea makes me feel. It makes me feel calm, relaxed, focused. And that's, what I wanted to portray. And then, my slogan for my company is educating the world one teacup at a time, because the education piece is so important to me. And that's part of the reason why I did go into education. And my teas, I decided, I want to have some blends that are different. I want to specialize in dessert teas. So I have a full line of dessert teas like, apple pie, chocolate mint rooibos. I have lemon cream pie. I have, I just came up with a new one, chocolate hazelnut, which is a pu'er, and it's really, really good. So it gives you that, kind of like satisfaction from your sweet tooth, but at the same time, you're getting all the health benefits from the tea. And that's really what I wanted to create, especially for Americans, because their experience of tea has been primarily, tea bags, just regular black tea bags, or really, really dusty fannings from green tea.
Okay. So based on what you're saying, that's the culture. Is it still the culture for the tea bag, Melissa, or is it changing to other loose?
It has been changing over the years. I have recently moved from San Francisco to Arizona, so I definitely have been involved in the San Francisco tea scene. And tea education is really helping because it's bringing the awareness that there's so much more to tea than just, your regular tea bags that you buy in the store. There are some really great tea places there that you could go to that, serve loose leaf teas. And of course you have your, afternoon tea places as well, but you also have some more eclectic type tea places in San Francisco that are really popular. Here in Arizona, I don't see as much of that. I do see some afternoon tea spots that have some loose leaf teas. I'm not seeing a lot of education here, so that's definitely something that I want to help change and flourish in this industry for sure.
Great. Are you doing any sort of workshop in the area to improve the awareness of the people, Melissa?
Yes, absolutely. So I work with the International Tea Masters Association, and I teach tea courses for people to become certified. So I teach the Tea Sommelier certification course. I also teach the How to Start Your Own Tea Business course, and of course the tea blending course, which I'm also doing next week, which is super exciting because that's one of my favorite things to teach. Blending tea for me is my specialty. And my specialty, and it's what I love. It's my creative outlet, and I just love the fact that when you blend different herbs together, you get this amazing, powerful, synergistic effect that is so much more powerful together than it is by itself, and that's what I love about blending.
Okay, that's great. I love blending. I myself, of course, I don't want to go through the details. I love blending and I do some blending as well. But that's great. I mean, the way you are doing, creating something as a mix of tea and herbal, whatever it is, to make an impact and make a difference. So you have something new to offer to your customers or to the people.
Yeah.
Regarding the training that you mentioned, Melissa, can you elaborate a little bit more on those training? If someone wants to join those sort of training, what they have to do? If you want to touch a little bit regarding, I don't know, the time frame, is it a week? Is it 1 day course?
Right. So most of the courses are held online right now, especially because of, the COVID situation. We used to do them in person in San Francisco, and now they're primarily all online. And basically what it is, it's usually a 2 or 3 day online, course. And then the rest of the part 2 part of the course is all online, virtual, and it's on your own. And then basically what you do is you send in your information, you get feedback on the different tastings. So for instance, the Tea Sommelier course is about 2 days online course with your tea master trainer. And then you sign up for that through the International Tea Masters website, teamasters.org. And once you sign up, you get assigned to a tea master, which will be working with you personally. You get mailed, all of the materials and everything you need for the course, including the manual and other, reading materials. And then you go through the tasting course. You become a certified tea sommelier at the end. The first part, all the tastings are done with the tea master, and discussions and health education, everything about that for tea. And then the second part is done at home with readings, more tea tastings, and then those are sent in to the tea master, who gives the evaluations, dissertations, and then at the end there is a tea evaluation to become certified.
That's great. That's great.
So sometimes it takes probably about 6 months total.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have different options: tea sommelier, tea blending, different options.
Yeah, the How to Start Your Own Tea Business is a pretty quick course. It's usually 2 to 3 days online, and then the rest of the work is, on your own, but it really does help jumpstart someone's business, especially if they are new to the tea industry. And then the blending course is entirely different as well. We actually create blends in the class virtually. It's pretty amazing. And then when we do have them in person, we also do it that way. We create them in the class. I make sure that all of my students become, really, really familiar with all the different types of herbs, all the different types of base teas and flavorings, so that by the time they leave, they know exactly what they want to create, what their specific niche is for their market, and where they want to go with their business.
That's great. What I want you to do, of course, when we finish our formal chat, if you can send me the link of some of those details and the training and the options, then when I upload the chat to our Tea Lover Journal account, and I can share it with other people in case someone interested, they can get those information from you. Then considering the culture that you mentioned, Melissa, which is maybe in Arizona, you said is it more maybe tea bag or something like that?
Yeah, or like Arizona, RTDs, Arizona iced tea,
Okay.
So.
And isn't it still the coffee is the majority? I mean, for the people drinking coffee?
I would say absolutely coffee is still the majority in the US, and that's something I want to change, because it's funny because some people will say, well, I'm a coffee person, and I'm, in the back of my mind, I'm like, You are for now, but eventually most people end up switching over to tea just because of the acidity. As you age, we don't deal with acid as well. And tea, you could drink all day long and never have an issue. So eventually they will be a tea person.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Regarding what happened in the world in the last year or so regarding the COVID and the tea and the health benefit, do you think there is a move for the people?
I think so. I really hope so, because there is just so many different types of tea. It's like if you don't like one, there's 10,000 other varieties to try. And now that there's different companies doing blends and flavored teas, there's just so much to choose from and so many different health benefits. It's just so worth it. That's
great. You have been doing this sort of business for a long time and training. I want to see if you have got anything to share with whoever watching this video later on as a memory from your experience, whether this is a funny story or anything like that. That would be great to hear your story.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a story. I always like to tell even my registrants for my courses is that sometimes opportunities come in disguise. They come in ways where you feel overwhelmed and you feel like, gosh, I can't add another thing to my plate. Once you decide to go in the direction of your passion and your love, the doors just open. It just expands and opens and the opportunities are there for you. One, example I have is I was really busy. I was teaching health classes. I was starting my business. I was teaching my online tea courses, and I got a call from the Japanese Trade Organization. They wanted me to come and meet them at the Japanese Trade Organization in San Francisco. And at the time I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. I have so much going on. I really don't have time to do that, because they wanted me to meet with their tea farmers. And I didn't really know what the objective was for the meeting or anything. And I said, you know what? Because I remember someone telling me, just say yes, especially if it's in the direction of what you love to do. So I just said yes. I said, okay, I'm going to go and meet them. So I went and met them. It was the most amazing meeting. What they did was they had several people come and meet with them. And what they did was they had lined out several different types of tea. They had an RTD, they had a high roasted sencha, they had a regular sencha, they had a lower grade sencha. And basically what they did was they had each person come in, tea expert come in and, say what they tasted from all the different teas. And that was really fun, because for me it was like, well, I love tea. I drink tea all day. And so it was a pretty easy test for me. But at the end of the test, it afforded me a trip to Japan to meet with the mayor of Kakagawa. So, from that small meeting, it was so amazing, because I got the opportunity to have one of the lifetime experiences in a country that I, at the time was just dying to visit. And so that was my story. And now it's like if something comes up, I'm a yes person all the way.
That's great. Considering what you have done, Melissa, for the people that they want to start doing anything in the tea business, do you have any suggestion, any recommendation for them, whether this is going to be the training part or whatever that you want to share with them?
So my main thing I like to share with all of my registrants too is find your niche, find what you're passionate about. I was really passionate about fitness and exercise, and so creating the tea blends that I have that are dessert teas that are healthy, but they give you that sweet tooth satisfaction. That's my personal niche. Find your personal niche, and that way you can stand out and you can be super passionate about what you're doing. Education is huge. Become educated, become certified. It has afforded me so many opportunities just by having those certifications, and I've been able to travel all over the world because of it. So yeah, education, and find what your niche is.
That's great. Do you want to add anything regarding that blending aspect of what you are doing, Melissa?
I love blending. I know there are probably a lot of people watching that are very just, raw tea, straightforward, don't do anything to it. But I would like to invite you to open your thought process in the way of the synergy that happens when you have two herbs that come together and you create something that's powerful intentionally. with that benefit in mind.